return, Toronto FC2, with an objective of shaking off two bitter results of contrasting makeup and return to winning ways. Welcome one and all to the broadcast. My name is Mark Schoenster. Excited to be having you with us here as we want to get this one started between New York City FC2 and Toronto FC2, the second meeting of the season between these two sides. Two units right now that are sitting near the middle of the table in the Eastern Conference, as we now start to really pay closer attention to where teams sit in the MLS Next Pro standings. Every single week, we get closer and closer to who's making the playoffs and who will be missing out. Both of these sides, of course, would love to be in the lucky group that makes it through. First off, for Matt Pilkington's side, two names worth highlighting. First off, Jacob Arroyave getting another start after his long road to recovery from an ACL tear last year. He's working to get him back up to game speed, to keeping with the tempo of the match. Also, in goal, Brennan Klein got his first start last game, his first appearance at the Next Pro level. And now he will get the look again here in goal a week and a half later. Had to make 5 saves on 7 shots against him in that previous match against FC Cincinnati 2. Meanwhile, for Coach Chamini's side, of course, no Marko Stojadinovic today due to a red card suspension. So that's one name that usually you see there in the formation that is missing. But a couple of names to highlight. Mainly also in goal, someone who hasn't played the majority of the reps this season, Shafiq Wilson, getting his 3rd start of the year. His 2nd season with the club, although he debuted late in the year last season. So really his first full throttle year with Toronto FC2, getting the chance to step up in goal here this evening. Meanwhile, always got to look up top. A combination of Anthony Bostonberry, Michael Sullivan out in the wings, and Charlie Sharp getting just his 6th look this season, the first teamer back in. Here's a look at the schedule for this week's match, week 19. This is the first game. We do have one other match that'll be taking place today, but this is what the slate's gonna look like for the rest of the week. Both of these sides will be playing on Sunday, so perhaps if you're trying to kill some time between the match here today, Wednesday, you need to try to get a lay of the land of what else is going on in MLS Next Pro. Here are a couple of great opportunities to catch up on what some of these other teams are up to. What are some of the other squads that are competing for those top 8 spots in the Eastern Conference in particular? So perhaps you want to be tuning in to the likes of Crown Legacy, Philadelphia Union, or Chattanooga and Inter Miami 2. Huntsville, Columbus Crew 2 as well. But all across the board, I don't think you can go wrong with tuning in to any of these matchups. I think they'll all be worth your time to tune into and see what the competition looks like and who perhaps you're going to have to pass by the end of the season. Well, we're just getting started here in match week 19. We've got the game today, and then also later today, we have got another Next Pro game that kicks off about 30 minutes from now between St. Louis City 2 and Ventura County. You can, of course, also check that one out maybe after this one is done, as the national anthems are still proceeding back at Belson Stadium. Excited to get this one going for you, but they will make sure they go through all of the opening proceedings before we can kick this one off and get it going for the first 45 minutes of action. Once again, my name is Mark Schoenster. Excited to be describing the action for you here. Watching on MLSNextPro.com or on the YouTube stream on MLS, the YouTube page for MLS, that is. And there we go. Getting closer to getting this one going. Last time that a game was played here was back in May. Granted, there was a good stretch of time that New York City FC2 just weren't playing in any matches, but even with that in mind, it's been 3 straight games on the road since then. May 31st, the last game NYCFC2 played here on campus of St. John's. They lost that last home game 1-0 to New England Revolution 2. I'm talking about teams in the Eastern Conference table. Revolution 2 sitting above both of these sides. Toronto FC 2 sitting in 10th. New York City FC sitting in 11th. So right next to each other, tied at 22 points apop. So when you look back at maybe which of these teams, if either or both, make it to the playoffs, you could perhaps look back on this match as perhaps a swinging point. A 28-game season. This will be game number 17. Before you know it, you'll be counting on one hand how many games you have left, and where you sit in the standings will be a lot harder to shift up and down. So you gotta get results where you can. So it'll be Toronto in their typical red uniforms going left to right. Meanwhile, New York City FC 2 going right to left in their white unis. Our head official for this evening's bout is Andrew Parada. Officiating crew will be in the standard yellow uniforms as we look to get this one going here just moments away. It's a busy week for both these sides playing today, and then we'll have a match on Sunday. Toronto will go back home to play Chicago Fire 2. Meanwhile, it's a road trip not too far from here against the rivals Red Bulls 2, who sit at the top of the Eastern Conference right now for New York City FC 2. So Andrew Parada making sure all the boxes are checked. And we are off and running here from Belson Stadium. It is New York City FC 2 and Toronto 2 duking it out in Queens. My name is Mark Schoenster, excited to be presenting this one to you. And we have quite a nervy start here. The goalkeeper colliding with the ball. Coming way off his line, Shafiq Wilson. Waited patiently and have a pretty interesting opening moment in the match. That'll be a Toronto throw here as both teams start to get themselves acclimated. So let's see what happened again here. Ball just gets loose, and Shafiq Wilson, honestly, credit to him, because that was about to be a prime breakaway opportunity where he would have had to take on that New York player one-on-one inside the penalty area if he had any pace to him. If you're a goalkeeper too, you just love to get yourself involved quickly so you don't get too static back there. So perhaps maybe he's looking for a reason to get involved into the game, but it's actually a pretty wise interjection. Hey, Piero Elias trying to make something happen, and I'm going to say it's Toronto ball. First time back here in over a month. Matt Pilkington, man in charge of this New York side. The guys just want to play, whether it be home, away. Every single match excites them, and they just want to get some games in. bit of a spell without playing any matches not too long ago. I only played 2 games in the month of July, or excuse me, or 1 game in the month of two games in the month of June. Now that I've got my wires uncrossed, as that one will float all the way across and ultimately harmless. And 2 games in the month of June. 1 against Atlanta United 2 and 1 against Columbus Crew. And in case you don't follow typical schedule structure of a soccer season, that's a very sparse. Finally got back a week and a half ago. Played their first game in July. And the diet gets a little bit more consistent from here on out. TL rolls it forward to LES. Dealt with and cleared away by Reed Fisher. It's kind of hard though when you don't play a lot. Sure, you're gonna get some rest, and players that need some recharging and need some recovery will get it, but it's hard to find some form and to stay as sharp as possible without game minutes. You could scrimmage all you like during that time, but it doesn't quite replicate the intensity of an actual match. I'm sure they've been chomping at the bit to get back on a week-to-week schedule where you're playing a game every weekend. In this case, of course, playing the midweekend and on the weekend. I mentioned earlier, Toronto 2, after having a pretty good streak of matches, have had 2 pretty bitter performances for very different reasons. They were put to the sword by Philadelphia Union 2, just a runaway game. Now, granted, Philly has done that quite frequently recently, so don't know how much you want to take it personally if you're Toronto, but then on Friday they played against New York Red Bulls 2, who currently sit at the top of the Eastern Conference, and took a 2-0 lead after Yari scored a beautiful goal, and then Nugent got a tap in from Malik Henry. Up 2-0, and then it all changes in the second half when Stojadinovic got sent off with a straight red. And they'll have their first attack here as it's serviced inside. The header drifts wide. Charlie Sharp will want to have put that one on frame. It was a wonderful ball swung in. But on a platter. Just didn't have himself shaped correctly against that ball. Heads it wide. Opportunity wasn't taken the best advantage of by Toronto. First good look for the visitors. Ultimately the first good look in this match. As I was saying though, they were up 2-0 and a straight red in the 56th minute. Opened the window of opportunity for Red Bulls 2, and they were able to score one back, and then a last-second equalizer on a corner kick to make it 2-2. And then, insult to injury, Red Bulls 2 would then win the penalty kick shootout, so they get 2 of the 3 points in the match, and suddenly a game that you were up 2-0 and feeling really good about yourself, it's flushed away in some frustration. So 2 very different negative results, but both negative nonetheless. So Toronto will be looking to snap back into form here in this one. Of course, easier said than done against this New York side. TL rolls it back to Prince Apansa. New York City FC 2 coming off a 2-2 draw against FC Cincinnati 2. Ultimately, it was positive returns from that one, according to Matt Pilkington. First and foremost, the guys were just happy to get back into game action and felt good about where the team was at despite that time off. He felt overall they controlled the game and had a lot of the ball, and ultimately gave away some cheap goals, but scored some good ones. They just clean up those lapses in defense, and outside of that, it was a good job away from home. You get a point, and then you build off of that. So at this point, if you get a draw against FC Cincinnati too, you kind of just have to take just the point. They've been so good from the penalty spot this season. These are two teams, though, obviously in similar spots. They're right next to each other on the table, have the exact same amount of points going into this match. So means that this is a chance for either one of them to make the second half story of their season just marginally better than their first, because marginally better is all they're going to need in order to sit above that playoff line. Hefty collision there. Italo just coming in a little hot. It's a high boot there from Pierre Elias as Reed Fisher was nodding that one away. These two teams playing for the second time this season. Last meeting also took place here at Belson Stadium, May 15th. It was a 3-0 victory for New York City FC 2. Looking at some of the numbers, though, Toronto had 66% of possession, led in several statistical categories, some of the broad ones. But combination there inside the penalty area doesn't lead to anything. Talking about leading in major statistical categories, of course, you can point to those, but the fact is that the important category, of course, is who scored more goals in the match, and so it was a 3-0 victory at the end of the day. So we have some payback on the mind there as well. Fisher feeds it up to Olguin. McDonald rolls it over to the left-hand side and tap it back. Interesting idea there, and Charlie Sharp gives a clap in acknowledgement of that, but ultimately not on the same page. I can talk all day about the importance of, or lack thereof, of leading in certain stats if you don't win the game, but the reason I bring it up in the first place is because that's something that was even acknowledged by Matt Pilkington when talking about that game. Mentioned that his side scored early and scored in the right moments. Talked about how pleased he was that they got a clean sheet in that game, not something they've been able to maintain often this season. It's kind of a hard feat to accomplish in the team they can be, and they need to be up and ready for the challenge. He acknowledged just how much that they held the ball in that game, and don't think he wants that to repeat itself, or else you're asking for the result to be different from the previous time. Tiao taking it down that left-hand side. He collides there with Malik Henry. Both bumping into each other there as they tore down the left flank. And it looks like a push from behind from Henry. It'll be a free kick. Bodies load up on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Service driven in, takes a bounce, and now effectively cleared away by Ari. Second ball wafted inside, and ultimately can be allowed to bounce out of bounds, and Toronto will reclaim the ball. Shafiq Wilson eyeballing that one as it swung towards his goal, but not on target. 24 years old. Played a year at FAU, then 3 at the University of Albany. First start of the season for Wilson. This portion of the match is brought to you by St. John's University, the official undergraduate partner of New York City FC 2. Pressure causing the passing to become a little bit more frenetic for New York City FC 2. Ultimately, they're able to handle the imminent danger. It's always curious to see, though, how young players handle when a press is triggered, and can they make the decisions just that much quicker? Talking briefly about these last 2 matches, the 2 negative results for Toronto. Worth mentioning before that they were on a 4-game unbeaten streak, 3 wins, 1 draw. Kind of a demonstration of the ebbs and flows of a season, or as Coach Gianni Cimini described it, the peaks and valleys. When they were on that win streak, he mentioned that you don't expect to be at a high forever. You expect it to have a little bit of a drop, because that's just the way high performance works. This is not something that you can sustain forever. It's going to drop, and when it does, then the mission is to bring it back up to that point. Especially when you've got a young group, too. You just know that roadblocks are going to be hit. Consistency is something that, as a young player, you're working to develop. So if you have the awareness that good runs never last, then it makes you more prepared to handle it once it does actually slow down. As many coaches will tell you, never get too high, never get too low. So when things are good, don't feel like you can conquer the world. But when things start going poorly, don't think that you're incapable of doing anything. Henry helps to play it back. Toronto matriculating forward here, just waiting for an opening, and they may find something here. Half-volleyed shot, ricochets off the crossbar. A pop shot from the left-hand side. Had some serious pace to it. Good grief. That one was sizzling. Sullivan has that one knocked away from him. Elias is able, or excuse me, it was Sullivan able to get a glance off of Elias there. Olguin. Brandon Klein able to get that one away despite a red jersey streaking towards him. And now McCamey distributes to the right-hand side. Got some high-level contributors missing today for New York City FC 2. For good reason. Well, somewhat good reason, depending on your perspective. For those players, it's a great reason, and that's that right now the first team is a bit light. So that would be the negative perception of the situation. But because they're light and they're on a, I believe, 4-game road stretch, they're bringing some of the young talent with them, and that, of course, is great news from the perspective of the second team and for those players in particular. Guys like Max Murray, Drew Baera, Seymour Reed. Well, not available for selection here, and instead are training with and hoping to potentially get the opportunity to be in the 18 and maybe even get into a match during this road stretch for New York City. Meanwhile, the second team on the prowl here. Lovely idea. Just didn't have quite enough lift. Tee out. Taps it to Mponsa. Now it's Evan Lim. One thing's for certain, Matt Pilkington was telling me about it. It's rare to have a consistent group at this level. You know, be playing for each game, so you kind of roll with the punches. It's how the ecosystem is meant to work, so you're going to get that roster rotation, that movement, but when players get called up to play with the first team, which is already a great thing, it also means a great thing for some of the players further down the pecking order. Guys in the academy or players deeper on the bench on the second team's roster get the opportunity to get some more minutes to prove yourself and show what you're capable of. Meanwhile, Here's Bostonberry. Bostonberry feeds it centrally, tapped away. Bostonberry gets it again out wide. Still with it. Just lost his footing on the ball for a moment. Provided the opportunity to clear. This portion of the match is brought to you by Adidas, the official kit supplier for New York City FC 2. They're pretty nice kits too if you haven't gotten a chance to get a closer look at them. Love the alternate logo being used for the badge. It's very nice. Stumble for a moment, gives the ball away. And now Toronto, the ball back. Both sides been feeling each other out. One or two opportunities, primarily for Toronto. It has been somewhat cagey so far. Certainly not the start to the game. That was the last match that these two teams had. Of course, the goal being scored in the second minute by Muzu, whom is another one of those players I was talking about earlier that are not in the 18 today for good reasons. Elias. Rolling it up to combine there. Tiao and unsuccessful. Falling down on that ball is Charlie Sharp. Now, mentioned some of the consistency woes for this New York City FC2 side, and I offhandedly mentioned that it's something that a lot of these Next Pro teams struggle with. Toronto FC2 no different as Elias enters the penalty area using the outside of his boot. Nearly picks out the right post. Not a bad idea from Elias from the left-hand side. Look at him use his right boot. And that hopes for two things there. Either one, he just sneaks that into the post, or B, it does give the opportunity for a streaking attacker to get on the end of it. Ogwin. Rolled by McDonald. Patrick McDonald, that is, talked a little bit about the lack of a consistent lineup. And he said it's okay because whenever someone's name is called, they've been ready. He said it's a credit to the coaches, one, putting together a good team, and to the guys who haven't had as many minutes, because the moment they get the opportunity to step up, they've been ready. I think that's a testament not just to coaching, but also, and I know this is a word that gets tossed around a lot, but culture is important. Because it would be very easy for a player who's not getting minutes to mail it in a little bit in training, day to day, week to week. Of course, if you're mailing it in too much, you're not going to be a part of the team for too long. But The difference between putting in the effort day in and day out and being sharp and being ready to plug in at a moment's notice to play in the big games. The team is more than just the 11 guys or even the 18 guys that are out there. Got a whole squadron of players who are all eager to play. Elias rolls it inside, and a push on the back will mean another free kick. And our first booking of the evening is given to the Brazilian Italo. His third yellow card of the season. He gets his hands on the numbers of Leo Guarino. This sets up a dangerous free kick opportunity for New York City FC 2. It'll be Jacob Aroyave and Uriel Zeitz, who are behind the dead ball.
Toronto's number 58, Italo, in the 29th minute. Tarjeta amarilla en el minuto 29 para el número 58 de Toronto, Italo.
Once again, Zeitz and Aroyave. Zeitz takes it himself, and it'll skip wide. Goal kick incoming for the visitors. It's always such a challenge trying to take a shot from a free kick spot. Takes such precision, the accuracy, the lift, and the dip that you need. Really need to get a crisp hit on that ball. And then, of course, on top of that, once you do that, if you've got enough pace to then beat the keeper. This is looking into something dangerous. Bostonberry across the middle. Bounces wide of the right post. Looked to be more of a service than a shot. Either way, came pretty close. Charlie Sharp not too far away, and the right goalpost not too far away. Contact and rolling out for a Toronto throw. This portion of the match is brought to you by Etihad Airways, the official airline partner of New York City FC 2. Speaking of Airways, a lot of traveling being done by the first team right now for NYCFC. On a 4-game road trip. Lost their last match 2-0 against Charlotte. They're at Orlando tonight. That kick is at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Whistle blows, free kick incoming for the visitors. Contact being drawn by Patrick McDonald. 59th pick in the 2024 MLS Super Draft.
Issued in the 32nd minute to New York City's number 42, Fiero Elias.
Yellow card's been issued to Elias. Not too serious of a foul, but Elias has already been caught a couple times in this game, so probably more so an accumulation yellow card than anything else. Won't be McDonald. Service lifted up. Headed out for our first corner kick of the evening. Hassan Ayari, the one who actually provided the service there after McDonald fainted. And it'll be Ayari who will make his way over to the left corner flag. See it whipping around a little bit. About 5-mile-per-hour winds in Jamaica, Queens. Lower 80s. Corner kick now, the Woods yet. Volleyed shot. Ends up hitting Reed Fisher. And then another effort spinning over the top. See the volleyed effort from Michael Sullivan, just trying to rip it into the trees. Sometimes you just gotta test your luck with that, as Sullivan brings it forward again. Sullivan shrugging off contact, still Sullivan. A much needed step there from Prince Apansa. A high boot has been called here. Dangerous play. We're gonna look at it again here. Let's see there. Anthony Bossenberry is getting his boot up, and it's a reckless play. No card's been issued for the foul, but stern warning, I'm sure, has been given to Anthony Bossenberry, Academy kid. Lovely touch there from Elias. Play back to Molinari. Elias with it again. Tried to knife that one down the middle. Not a bad idea. Apansa colliding there. Looked to be with Charlie Sharp as they tried to coordinate a counterattack. I think that's a bit emblematic of how this game has gone so far. A bit choppy, at times stagnant. A couple more opportunities for Toronto generally. Neither side has truly been able to pry open the other team once they get into the attacking third. Pressure here from NYCFC2 causing Toronto to retreat. Henry turning the corner, turning on the burners. Henry looking ahead for Sharp, but Colin McCamey able to handle it, but not fully clear it. It's Henry again. Henry swings it inside. Well done there from Sullivan. Tried to square it across, couldn't connect. Lovely ball up ahead for Elias. Piero Elias having to joust there with Reed Fisher. little jostling action as he now rips it across goal. Just a little too high for Zeitz to handle. Tell you one thing though, for New York City FC 2, even if they haven't had the lion's share of the chances in this game, most of their opportunities have come by the way of Piero Elias getting some work done on that left-hand side. Been heavily involved in this game so far. Just a little bit too high for Zeitz to chest and rip towards goal. Also had quite a bit of pace to it, so that was always going to be a tall task. Christopher Tiao, left back, will take the acreage in front of him before squaring it to Lim. Lim again out to Tiao. Cuts it to Elias. Returns the favor, Tiao keeps it in play. And the flag does go up, and the call is a goal kick. The assistant ref on the far side of the pitch making the decision. Pretty tight situation. Certainly can see the argument for either side. Just depends on when the ball crossed the byline. Sharp playing that one along nicely. Dawson-Berry tried to thread it ahead on the left-hand side. We'll get another crack at it. Ayari hits the brakes. Moving inside now, Ogwin threads the needle. Bostonberry with the back heel. Ayari bringing it back to Chukwu. Now it's Ayari again. Nice step, takes the shot. Lifted a little too high and maybe a bit too wide as well. But you like Hassan Ayari in those spots. He scored a beautiful goal from a similar location in their last match against Red Bulls 2. Doing very similar things to create the window. So if you're Gianni Cimini, you absolutely give him the license to work some magic in that moment. You miss a couple, but if you score a couple as well, then it's totally worth the full body of work. Ponsa plays it up to Tiao. Elias in a bit of a bind. He gets himself out of it, though. Piero Elias continues to impress as he switches it. New York City FC 2 inching closer. Aroyave. On it back, Molinari now will pull some strings. Ampansa, nice find up ahead. This shot rolls harmlessly towards goal. Shafiq Wilson will handle that one. Leo Guarino, the one who took the shot, made a good run here. It was a nice find from Ampansa. That one will sail over the head of Malik Henry. That's a little too much air from the distribution from the goalkeeper, Shafiq Wilson. Ponsa pops this one up ahead. That's a lovely touch. Elias plays it inside. It's returned back to him. Some lovely interplay here from New York City FC 2. Now the shot skips off the boots of Elias. He rifles it. Palmed away by Shafiq Wilson. That's the sharpest this New York City FC 2 side has looked here this evening. Even when the play went a little bit awry, Piero Elias quick to turn around and make something of it. In the end result, a corner kick for the home side. Let's see if they can make that previous venture pay off on the set piece. Ponsa rolls it to his left for tee out. Finds Elias. Rolls it back to tee out. Has some room to work with. He'll try the shot. And it's stonewalled by Michael Sullivan. Brennan Klein distributes it to Evan Lim. We're approaching 45 minutes. Gone and done here from Belson Stadium. Now Toronto on the push. Sullivan with Henry to his right, and he feeds him. Malik Henry squares it back across the middle. Was looking to return to Sullivan. And now McDonald squares it to his left. 1 more minute will be tacked on here before the halftime whistle. The end of everything pretty even between these two sides after 45 minutes. Both have had some good looks, some good chances, but nothing has quite broken through. Toronto had the better looks early. The New York City FC 2 with the most recent of dangerous forays. Maybe one more chance here for Toronto to put something going forward. Rolling down to Sullivan. Sullivan steps inside. Service headed down. Ayari tried to sneak it in. Whistle could sound at any moment now. Ayari into the 18. Squares it. Bostonberry into the middle. Maybe one too many touches. And there is the halftime whistle. Excitement starting to brew in the closing moments of this second half, but it's 0-0 between New York City FC 2 and Toronto FC 2. MLS All-Star Week is here, and so is Goalie Wars. Let's see the work that goes into making the championship belt and revisit last year's competition.
New York City 0, Toronto 0.
In my head to score this and win the belt. So I took a deep breath, focused on my accuracy, and yes, Isaac Walker, the new champion. How about this? How about this? How about this? Come on now.
So I got into championship belts when I was a kid. I was a big wrestling fan in the 80s, and I used to love watching the championship belts on TV, and I used to draw them on paper. My name is Andrew Lazarchik, and I am the owner of Wildcat Championship Belts. In 2005, I officially started Wildcat Championship Belts, where we started making authentic title belts. I would make wrestling title belts for small wrestling promotions, or anybody else that really needed an award. In 2007 was when we got our first big break, when Nathan's Famous Hot Dogs called us, and they needed a title belt for their hot dog eating competition, and they needed it quickly. So we agreed to do that, got it done very quickly, and we've made that title belt every year since 2007. We started working with WWE at that time too, and we started making some of the belts for WWE in 2007. It's grown. We make belts for anybody that needs a unique award. That's how we kind of grew the business into what it is today. When I started Wildcat Championship Belts, it was a part-time gig for 15 years. I'm not an overnight success. It was a lot of work. You know, you talk about your 10,000 hours of practice. You know, I've had my 10,000 hours of practice.
Last year's Goalie Wars belt was designed by Wildcat Championship Belts and was a big hit with fans and players alike. This year's belt has been modified with new changes that catch the eye.
The idea behind the belt is it almost has arrows on it, kind of graphically interpreting kicking the ball as hard as you can into the goal. So that was kind of the first concept we came up with, and then we tweaked it to get it to where it is now. This year we use the arrow branding that MLS NEXT Pro uses as the side plates, as well as the location. This year it's Columbus, Ohio.
MLS NEXT Pro and Wildcat Championship Belts have collaborated to bring another world-class belt to life with an in-depth process.
Whenever we make our title belts, everything's custom made by hand. It has to be drawn out, cut out, tooled individually by hand. Each little, mark in the leather is a hand-tooled stamp. As far as the plates go, that's all custom designed from scratch. It's not mass-produced, gold-plated, nickel-plated in the MLS NEXT Pro case. They're then painted by hand right here in our workshop. We paint them by hand. And then assemble it here, assemble the plates onto the leather, glue the backing on, and we have a finished product.
With this year's belt, there's a focus on graphical elements that make the belt unique.
We knew that we wanted to somehow graphically interpret the soccer game as part of the design, but there's a tangible element of soccer that we kind of were able to graphically interpret. So we try to do that with branding, or with something as literal as soccer, or fantasy football, that kind of thing. We have to mesh that with the classic idea of what a championship belt is to look like.
It takes thousands of hours to become a champion, which is why Andrew's motto is no days off. It's a motto that recipients of his belt can relate to.
The coolest part about having these belts go to winners and champions is knowing that they earned it. Last year when Isaac Walker earned that title belt, he'd throw the belt over his shoulder, and he was very proud because he was a champion and he earned it. That's the coolest thing, to be able to help people that they've done the work, they've done the hard work to become a champion, but until you have that title belt strapped around your waist or over your shoulder, that's when you're really a champion. If you do the hard work, you put the time in, you put the effort in, you can become a champion, and we can help you do that.
Andrew's dedication to his craft comes through in all of his work. He's determined to share that passion with the next generation as well.
If I can, share that passion with others by helping them become a champion, whether it's with a title belt or with our Little Champs program that we started, where every year we donate a portion of the profits to Toys for Tots, and we've donated over 1,500 toy championship belts to kids since we started doing this. Now we're donating funds to our local school district to help the school district with buying things for the classroom. And those kids will eventually have a passion of their own, and hopefully whatever funding that we can help with will grow their passion to what they want to do with a career. So it's more than just making title belts and making a living. It's really following your passion.
Let's go. Here comes Jean-Antoine, goalkeeper for Chattanooga FC. It's great to have Jean out here. He's from Haiti. He's 30 years of age, and his opponent tonight, Chitaru Odonze of Crown Legacy. Remember, Crown Legacy, victorious last season. And here we go. The first effort is missed. Mo, how costly could that be here early?
It could be everything. You get the first look, you got to find the back of the net. Set the tone.
Here's Chitaru now with his shot. Oh, saved over the bar. Little bit of urgency we're seeing now from Jean-Antoine with the throw this time, blazing over.
I'm not sure I'm going with a throw on this, Mo. I'm going ball drop kicking from my feet. You get more power, no?
I like the Techers, yeah. I like a little drop kick, get a little, oh, that was it there. I thought that was it there.
I don't think we're going to get 0-0. We got just under a minute, though. These guys got to score.
There's a little bit of nerve setting in. They're just trying to get those kinks out. Here we go.
Oh, what a
great
save. Excellent save there. Good effort from Chitaru Odonze. The man from Raleigh, North Carolina, now with his strike.
Oh,
what a save again.
Back to back.
Such a tense opening match
I
here.
like what Odonze is doing right now. He's slowing it down, managing the moments right now.
Odonze, oh, what a save!
You know the momentum shift. Here we go. Oh, good save.
These two goalkeepers canceling each other out. 25 seconds to go, fellas. Oh, it's a great throw off the upright. Would you believe it? So close. 16 seconds.
It might just take one.
Starting to set in, though. You can see both of these guys.
It might just take one is right, blazing wide. And now an opportunity for Jean-Antoine to win it. He's got 6 seconds. He's got to hurry up. 3 seconds. He's got to take it to win it! Off the woodwork. A sensational start. 0-0 the score. And Jean-Antoine and Chitaru Odonze go again.
What just happened?
Chitaru Odonze didn't start with the ball the first time. He gets to go now. He gets the advantage. Jean-Antoine had the advantage to start Goalie Wars, but now we're in overtime. They get one go each if still level. Then we head to sudden death. Next penalty scorer, the winner. Here we go. Odonze! It's a beauty! It's a beauty for Crown Legacy. If he missed, it's over, and that is it. Congratulations. Chitaru Odonze is headed to the Goalie Wars final. Excellent effort, Mo, from both of these competitors.
I mean, that was amazing.
Maybe one of these competitors will be back next year doing interviews like Isaac Walker. Here for the next round, the semi-final of Goalie Wars, Michael Kalodi representing North Texas.
Oh, there we go.
And of course,
already
we've got
off the
Stas
get-go.
Lapkus. Stas Lapkus!
Whoa. What is going on here?
Great response there from Lapkus. Oh!
Okay, whoa.
You don't
3
go
for
those.
3. These guys are
thought he
bringing
had
it, but that is a miss. Lapkus with the miss this time. 18 years of age from Belarus.
Oh, wow.
Michael.
What is going on here?
Michael Kaladi, he's out here showing out right now.
Yeah, Kalodi, top class. The 23-year-old is absolutely brilliant, but here's a response from Stas Lapkus. His dad is a 5-time Olympian, 4-time fencer and a coach there as well. Athletic ability is there for all to see. Lapkus has got to get back in this game, though, as he blazes over, Mo.
That was the moment. Kaladi's done really well. Now he can just manage this. Just manage this a little bit.
Oh,
There's no reason
just
to rush.
right.
Are you managing it? I'm going for glory here. I'm putting as many balls into the back of the net. If I am hot, I am hot.
Yeah, but
And as
hey,
soon as
there's
you
less
cool
than 30
off-
seconds on it, guys.
Exactly.
And there's a 2-goal
That's not a
difference
winner's
right now.
mentality, guys. Come on.
A winner's mentality is you win. You protect your lead.
And Stas Lapkus is with Crew 2. He's on home
see?
turf here. He's the hometown boy.
Oh, he's a
it's
little bit
just
tired.
wide. Here we go. Kalodi has that 4-2 advantage, 10 seconds left, and he's winding
see that?
down
You see
the
that?
clock.
Okay.
There's that management from the fella from North Texas, representing FC Dallas.
finalists, they won in different ways. Odunze had to go into sudden death. Colodi came out hot, set the tone early, and got the job done.
All right, folks, 6 seconds is what they have to get the ball away here and shoot. 3 steps with the ball in their hand. Here we go, the Goalie Wars Championship. For the Goalie Wars belt, you saw the WWE superstars, Sheamus and Sonya Deville on site with Isaac.
Gave him the eyes, Mo.
Again.
Brilliant finish that. Now from the hand this time, not far away from Colodi.
I'll tell you what, Odunze, he's got a huge frame.
No, what would it mean for Crown Legacy?
Back-to-back?
Charlotte FC to go back-to-back here tonight.
That'd be everything. You saw the way Isaac Walker walked out with that belt. My man is owning the moment.
That he is, and more. Lovely save from Chitaru Odunze. Lovely save yet again. So tense here. 40 seconds to play. The grand finale of Goalie Wars.
Great save. Kept it in play as well.
You know what my favorite thing about the Goalie Wars as well is all the players literally love it. You should see them all behind these little signs here. Everyone's so invested.
Oh, Bernardeschi may as well be kicking every ball. Blazing over here. And now this is when you see Odunze just take his time, Mo.
Yep, manage the moment. Oh, but he's got to find that second one.
He's not putting the game away here, and he's leaving an opportunity. But that's a brilliant save, and the question now is, will that be it for
Last
Michael
opportunity.
Colodi?
Oh, quick, get a ball.
Get a ball for what?
He's taking his time here.
Chitaru Odunze has been crowned.
That's it. He's done it. Congratulations, Chitaru Odunze, Goalie Wars champion here in 2024.
Looks like a lot of fun there. We've got some fun coming up here in the second 45 minutes between New York City FC 2 and Toronto FC 2 here on MLSNextPro.com. Let's take a look at what happened in the first 45 minutes to catch you up on all the happenings from the first half, so then you're up to speed on what the game looked like up to this point. This was the first real chance in the game, and I mean, holy moly, if that one goes in, that is a highlight reel goal that you put right at the front of your tape. A couple of moments after that between both sides, this being the best opportunity in the first half for New York City FC 2. Ariave, his shot goes right to the boots of Elias after it's well worked across the pitch, and then his effort parried away by Shafiq Wilson. And that is where the first half highlights conclude, but we do have some numbers to break down for you here. As you can see, pretty even Steven between these two sides. Same amount of shots, a couple of shots on target for NYC FC 2. Now, the first one was a bit of a rolling effort, so not too dangerous for Wilson, but that second one you saw the clip of, he definitely had to parry away. As far as corner kicks, both teams have one, as you can see there. In the possession battle, these two sides, of course, you could talk about just how important possession is in a match, but New York City FC 2 with the edge, 54%. So ultimately, the numbers fairly comparable all the way around, which means that both of these teams have ample opportunity to kick it up another notch here in the second half. Moments, things got stagnant, a little choppy in the first half of action. But now both sides have had the chance to not only feel each other out for 45 minutes, but also then get into their dressing rooms and verbally assess everything that has developed in this match. We'll see if that makes a significant difference in approach or if perhaps a tweak, whether it be tactically or personnel-wise, can change the shape of this game. I don't think anything too significant needs to be changed for either of these teams. It's just about finding that little edge over the other side. And now, all that remains is to wait and see if either side can find that edge. Once again, we welcome you on the broadcast for the second half. My name is Mark Schoenster. As both sides now switch ends, it'll be NYC FC2 in their white unis going left to right, meanwhile right to left for the red jerseyed Toronto FC2. So we're going to get two changes for Gianni Cimini's side, otherwise known as Toronto FC2. First off on the back end, Richard Chukwu, the academy kid. We'll see 45 minutes in and will now spend 45 minutes out. And Micah Chisholm will take his place over on the back line. Meanwhile, on the attacking end, Charlie Sharp, the first teamer, got his 45 minutes and now he will leave and Jamari Nolan will step in. Just 15 years old, Jamari Nolan. See if the young kid will have the ability to leave a lasting impact on this one. Has one goal this season. Jamari Nolan from Kingston, Jamaica, playing in Jamaica, New York. Not quite the same Jamaica. Whistle sounds from our head official, Andrew Parada. And we have got 45 more minutes on the docket for you here. Let's see if either of these sides can find a separator. No changes for New York, 2 for Toronto.
Coming on is number 73, Michael Chisholm. He replaces number 96, Richard Chukwu. Number 64, Jamari Nolan.
Second meeting of the season between these two sides. New York victorious 3-0 the first go around. Missing a couple of high-profile players today, New York City FC2, due to the 4-game road trip of the first team, who currently playing against Orlando City. That game's still 0-0, 30 minutes in. Pushing this one forward, Aroyave steps inside, Jacob Aroyave. Another look on target for New York City. But Shafiq Wilson ready for it there. Worth noting in that MLS game, Seymour Reed, Sebastiano Muzu, Maximo Carrizo, and Nico Cavallo all on the bench. So ample opportunity for at least one of those guys to get a chance to play. As this one sent forward for Nolan, getting his first touches. Nolan playing it over to his right. And Malik Henry couldn't quite corral that one in. This one played forward nicely. Nolan was pushing for it, but even faster there was Christopher Tiao. It does go out for a corner kick, though. Or I guess it was just a deep throw-in, I should clarify. Henry. Sliding challenge. That one will be a corner kick. So moving his way over there is Patrick McDonald. From the right corner flag. McDonald's service. Not out of the woods yet! Oh, what a save! Brennan Klein with a strong fist. That one was taken with some heat by Jamari Nolan. But a quick twitch reaction from Klein keeps this one scoreless. Fisher runs out of real estate, and the decision is goal kick. Brennan Klein, just his second look for New York City FC 2. Made his debut last game against FC Cincinnati 2. Had 5 saves in that one. And that's a quality punch there. Didn't have a lot of time to think about it, and yet was able to knock that one well out of harm's way. Of course, it had some pace going in his direction. That's all the more difficult to handle. Lopez went down to the ground. Looks like he got hit in the head. Looked like he might have gotten pushed down there too. Then he falls over on top of the ball, and Patrick McDonald keeps trying to play the ball, and as you would imagine, then hits him in the head. Yeah, he probably took a shin or a knee to the head there. Whether he meant to or not, he curled up over top the ball and then just took some contact from Patrick McDonald, and it's gonna rattle you for a second. Always gotta be so careful with head contact injuries. And that's exactly what Andrea Parada is doing here. So communicating happening now between Johnny Lopez and Parada, our head official. So he'll have to come off, make sure he gets checked to make sure that there are no signs of concussion. And if he gets the green light, then he'll get waved back on. We'll see, he'll get checked over there right by the midfield line, and once he's ready to go, that's where he'll be stationary until he's allowed back onto the pitch. Akemi will resume action. Long ball lofted overhead. And now Pierre Elias on that left-hand side where he's been dangerous in this game. Nice feed inside. That's a lovely turn. The shot! It's into the back of the net! Leo Corino picks out the right-hand side. And New York City FC 2 are on the board. We talked about how effective Pierre Elias was in the first half. He generates this opportunity, takes some contact. He draws in a second defender, which opens up the lane to pass it to Guarino. And then how about that strike from the 22-year-old? Scoring his second goal of the season. Leo Guarino. Second goal of the season in his second start of the season. And the home side able to pull ahead here. Pierre Elias will get his third assist there. Certainly been one of the most dangerous players on the pitch here this evening thus far. And now he's got a number to prove it. Guarino rolls it back, and now it's McCamey on the ball. You wonder how much more Toronto will dial up the aggression. Now down a goal. They still have a lot of time, so you don't have to get reckless yet if you're the visitors. But obviously, a game's a lot different when it's all knotted up versus when you're trailing. That'll affect your decision-making even if you are doing everything you can to not allow it to. That's the separator here so far. New York City FC 2. Victorious the first time these two teams met and is looking to replicate that result. After a good chance or two for Toronto, Brendan Klein makes a big save. You wonder how much different this game would be if that hadn't been the case. So big plays on both ends as Elias brings it down. Piero Elias slides it across, kicked away. Shafiq Wilson with the quick reaction. Some extra pressure there from New York City FC 2. Get a goal in your system, and that's going to help that confidence brim a little bit more and get a little bit more gumption. A lot of contact there from Reed Fisher. This portion of the match is brought to you by St. John's University, the official undergraduate partner of New York City FC 2. Guarino nearly sneaking that through. Would have been a lovely opportunity. Toronto able to handle it on this occasion. Italo lays it to Wilson. Talked about Brendan Klein getting his second look here in this match. This is the third start for Shafiq Wilson. He debuted last year in September, had 2 appearances in the 2024 season. Gotten 3, now 4 more looks here in 2025. Patrick McDonald on the ball right now. Offside flag goes up as Micah Chisholm took a turn to run up that side of the pitch. Some interchange happening there in roles between him, McDonald, and Anthony Bossenberry. Some fluidity over on the left-hand side as Elias gives chase to this one. Fisher has it first, though. Reed Fisher doing well there. So we're all the way back to the goalkeeper, Brennan Klein. Matt Pilkington was complimentary of after his first ever start and first ever look at the Next Pro level. Telling me that Brennan's always ready. He trains really well, and in that match had to step in the day before due to an injury. Much needed intervention there from Italo. But with the way he operates as a pro, they're very confident that he has the ability to help the team at any given moment. And he's done just that here this evening. McCamey rolls it forward nicely. Deflects ahead. Here comes Lim. He'll square it to his left. Elias returns the favor. Tiao across the goal. Cleared away. Red jerseys flocking to it first. The home side hungry for a second. Guarino. A push again. Bouncing ball ricochets upward by Italo. And that one's far gone out of here. I have to go searching for that one later. Sent into the stratosphere. So corner kick for NYCFC 2. That ball will sail all the way over. Ultimately, no danger there for New York City to create. This one given away. Played towards goal by Arayave. Doesn't reach the goalkeeper, but he keeps on a high intensity, wins the ball back for his side. No scrappy, but nearly an opportunity coming to fruition there. An attempted dummy. Some physicality nearly translated for the home side. They're really starting to stamp their boot on this game. Been very positive here post the goal. Elias, what a pass inside. Just lost the ball for a moment. Guarino tried to turn himself into some space. And now Toronto looking for the counterattack. Ayari walking it forward. It's back to McDonald. Patrick McDonald once again. McDonald echoing the ambitions that this team have at this point in time in the season. They want to make the playoffs and they want to win MLS Next Pro. He talked about how 3 years ago they were able to make the postseason in 2022, make it to the Eastern Conference Final. So they want to get back to that point, win that game, and then win it all. He said full steam ahead. It's the full focus for everybody. Cutting inside now and taking a shot. It's saved. Brennan Klein falling on that effort. It was Lucas Alguin trying to pick out that bottom right corner. Alguin. Nice cut inside. But Brennan Klein up for the challenge. Rolling back around is Malik Henry. Henry taps it inside. Sullivan moves it back out. Counterattack opportunity. Instead, they try to test the goalkeeper. And at the end of the day, it won't be that dangerous. Ball kick quickly retaken. This portion of the match is brought to you by Adidas, the official kit supplier for New York City FC 2. Got another look at Jacob Arayave today for New York City FC 2. Coming back from an ACL tear about a year ago at this point. Matt Pilkington telling me that he's been making progress. I mean, such a devastating injury, ACL tears. Just getting back up to speed, and now it's about getting that match tempo and getting the pace for the game again. Well done there by Fisher. He's being more physical than Chris Tiao. And with that, Arayave will make his way off the pitch. We're playing 65 minutes here. So making that progress chunk by chunk. And in will come Julian Locker. 17 years old, but boy, has he been an impact on the team this year. 4 goals, 4 assists.
Also number 87, Costa Iliades, replaces number 78, Malik Henry.
So 2 changes as well for Toronto too. Malik Henry's night is done, and Costa Iliades will sub in. And secondly, Italo, the center back with a yellow card, will make leave for the academy kid, Timothy Fortier. This one given away. Nolan plays it to his right. Cutting back inside, now played up top. The skipping shot off target. Fortier may have been his first touches on the ball. Just came into the match. Got it on the bounce, Fortier. Couldn't quite strike it the way he was looking. Any thought on Jacob Arayave subbing out of the game. Just eclipses the most minutes he's played this season with 65 to 66 minutes. Previously, the longest was 63 against Chicago Fire 2. Got an assist in that match. Now pushing forward here, McDonald. Try to roll it to his left. Ayari was making the run on the flank. It's a good effort there from Julian Locker, the substitute, just coming into the game. And he's knocked over by a fellow Academy kid, Anthony Bossenberry. It'll be a free kick and a yellow card for Bossenberry. His first booking. Bossenberry just 16 years old. Julian Locker, 17, goes to show you. If you're good enough, you're old enough, and these two definitely have demonstrated a lot of promise this season for their respective sides. I correct myself. Micah Chisholm, the one getting the yellow card there. Not quite 16 years old, 20 years old, but the point still stands about the youth being able to prove themselves. It's Zeitz and Locker behind the dead ball. Zeitz curls it in, and a corner kick's ensuing. Well, at least that was the expectation. Definitely looked like it was going to be a corner kick, but a foul has been called, so that is what changes the decision. Some contact knocking over a Toronto player. So it certainly looked like it came off a red jersey last, but when the foul's called, that certainly overrides. This shot punched over top. Brennan Klein once again getting his hand on it. Anthony Bossenberry letting that one fly. Brennan Klein up for the task. So another corner kick now. Service from a different vantage point, headed by Fisher, but he couldn't direct it towards goal. All the effort put into just getting contact on the ball. Fortier. Gets the ball right back. Toronto trying to break down the door to find an equalizer. 20 minutes to go. Ayari trying to invent some space for himself. Ayari. McDonald cutting in horizontally. Sullivan couldn't cut that one ahead. A little bit risky of a challenge there. This portion of the match is brought to you by Etihad Airways, the official airline partner of New York City FC 2. And after a sliding challenge moments ago, did not end up being called. That one there will be, and it's by the same assailant, Michael Sullivan. That'll be his first booking of the season. Wearing the captain's armband this evening.
A yellow card has been issued to Toronto's number 74, Michael Sullivan, in the 72nd minute. Tarjeta amarilla en el minuto 72 para el número 74 de Toronto, Michael Sullivan.
Sliding in late there. You don't want to get eager to leave your feet for a challenge. Sometimes it's all you can do, but having done 2 slides in the span of moments, perhaps just some intent to spark something on the other side, as perhaps it's done the trick either way. Toronto winning the ball right back after the free kick and nearly springing A great opportunity. Now this one getting a bit too physical. Yellow cards being brandished. I'll wait confirmation on exactly which player got the booking. That'll be on Costa Iliadis. That'll be his first yellow card of the season. Players dropping right now at the moment. From Andrew Parada. Gotta start trying to get these players to cool their heads a little bit, and perhaps the stoppage in time, the stoppage in play, I should say, can help them simmer down a little bit. As you see, another change for Matt Pilkington. Zeitz over, and Luka Sunic will get some minutes here. As I was saying, although of course it's stoppage in play, things are starting to get a bit heated out there. Toronto exercising some frustration. A goal scored by Leo Guarino separates the home side. Scored at the 53rd minute. Some good work from Piero Elias. Able to connect with the 22-year-old, and then, boy, did he do away with that ball. Prince and Ponsa will restart this one. Coming down this left-hand side, Hassan Ayari. Ayari. Back to McDonald. Now Ayari's ball, searching inside, twisted away. Sullivan picks it back up. Volkman trying to take that one in himself. And Luka Sunic, just moments after coming into the game, takes a push, goes down to the ground. 15 more minutes plus stoppage time to go. Kami rolls it over to Mpansa. We'll get it out of that pressure. At least out of the immediate pressure, because it ends up falling into the lap of Toronto. Michael Chisholm distributing it over to the left-hand side. Chisholm back in his home country playing for Toronto FC 2. Always been a dream of his to play back at home. He mentioned when he was abroad playing in Germany, he was telling friends that he wanted to play for Toronto FC. Didn't think the situation was going to come so soon, but he always knew he wanted to come back and play for the family and friends, and so in that way, Chisholm living the dream, which is always special. Always good to put into perspective as Ayari takes this one inside. Now it's out to McDonald. Patrick McDonald with the cross. Once again dealt with by New York City FC 2. They may have to deal with something else here. Sullivan able to pirouette that ball, but couldn't distribute it. Here they come again. Lifted over to the left-hand side. Can it be kept in play by Bostonberry? He's able to do that much. Fortier. Rolls it back to Olguin. Now it's McDonald. They've been circulating that ball. Can they find the avenue they're looking for? McDonald rips it across the middle. Took a couple skips. Wind-up shot zipping towards goal. Won't reach it. And now it's Micah Chisholm. Previous player I was talking about. He was back in his hometown. McDonald. Some lovely interplay. This shot rolling towards goal by Fortier. Another save by Brennan Klein. He's now got 4 of them in this match. Just his second ever Next Pro appearance. New York City FC 2 side. Of course, just like any of these programs, is all about that upward momentum of players going from the academy to the second team to the first team. Got players that are proof of concept in the model in New York. Of course, the most recent example being Sebastiano Muzu, agreeing to a short-term agreement earlier today to join the MLS side, travel with them, train with them, and potentially play. Of course, you get 4 of those looks per season on the second team. Elias. That one ripped inside, punched away by Shafiq Wilson. A lot of white jerseys around that Toronto had to traverse through. And now Bostonberry with some room to operate. Bostonberry rolls it up ahead. Jamari Nolan. He was offside.
Toronto substitution in the 81st minute, coming on as number 25.
And that'll be the end of the night for Anthony Bostonberry. Player on an academy contract subs out for someone on a first team contract, Nathaniel Edwards. Nathaniel Edwards with his 14th appearance of the season, with 10 more minutes to go. Some positive stretches here in the second half for Toronto, but it hasn't resulted in finding that leveling shot that they're searching for. It was looking pretty good for New York City after they scored. Of course, you get the goal, you're feeling good, and then play started getting lopsided in the home side's favor, but it's swung back around. Toronto, they've been digging in. Will they see fruits to their labor? Edwards. Searching ball inside, doesn't make contact with anybody. Long ball picked up, spurred back across, and the deflection nearly goes in. The effort there from NYCFC 2 to make something of that long ball. Quickly retaken by Toronto. Julian Locker searching for his 5th goal of the season. Could have been the icer in this game. And instead it's Nolan. But sliding in first is Brennan Klein. He's been up for every challenge that's come his way so far. Brennan Klein has been making it happen. Over on the left-hand side, it's Nathaniel Edwards. Plays it back to Fortier. Fortier again. Cuts it in. Some tight passing. Edwards again. Edwards knocked over. The ref says nothing to it. He believes maybe some fishing was happening there. Edwards trying to draw the call. Two changes on the deck for Matt Pilkington. I'd like to get confirmation on what specifically those changes are, but you can see them there on the far side. And they will be brought in now. So, two of the attacking pieces, actually, the two contributors to the goal today will be subbing out. Leo Guarino and Piero Elias. With a shift well done. I haven't actually gotten confirmation on who has subbed into the match. Get those to you the moment we can. And now we've got him here. So first off, David Duque subbing into the match. Contact won't be called there. Edwards taps it into the middle. I'll end up bouncing back out to McDonald. Sullivan has to shrug off some pressure on his back. And now Edwards. With a couple moves, kicks it back out. Olguin tries the shot. That wasn't too far off. Lucas Olguin trying to just place that one on the top shelf. A close encounter for Toronto. It stays 1-0. And we got official confirmation on the substitutions. Elias and Guarino out. Pearson Fuso and David Duque stepping in. Edwards has a go at it himself, but it's blocked. Good step by Locker. Locker still running with it. Julian Locker. One-on-one with Chisholm. Weaves by him. Locker. It's deflected out wide. Still on the prowl. That shot blocked. Sunic had his shot scuffed. It's a great run from Julian Locker. Shrugging some contact, weaving back and forth. Chisholm taps it back to his keeper. Wilson's ball will bounce out of play. And New York inching closer to a positive result here. You're watching the opening of match week 19 in MLS Next Pro. The amount of weeks left in the regular season only going to get shorter and shorter from here. Could be a big 3 points for the home side. Once this game's done, I'd encourage you to tune in to St. Louis City 2 and Ventura County. They're all tied up at 1 apiece. Can't speak for the goal St. Louis scored, but Tommy Musto with an absolute banger in the first half. Time starting to dwindle away here for Toronto. New York City starting to blockade on that side, looking to secure 3 points. Chisholm rolls it up ahead. We're going to get 5 more minutes here at Belson Stadium. 5 minutes for New York City FC2 to hang on. 5 more minutes for Toronto to continue fighting and clawing. If you remember, their last game, they conceded a goal in stoppage time. A game in which they were leading. Red Bulls 2 at the death were able to tie it up and then take an extra point in penalty kicks. Locker, once again, showing some of his aptitude on the ball. Something Matt Pilkington said has been really good this year. He's a great dribbler. McDonald taps it down the left-hand side for Nathaniel Edwards. McDonald again. Blamed by Brendan Klein. Boy, has he been good in this game. From Phoenix, Arizona. Spent 4 years at Boston College. Not too far from here. At least it's a lot closer than Phoenix, Arizona is. Edwards once more in the left channel. Halfway through the 5 allocated minutes. Edwards trying to take matters into his own hands. Once again falls over. At this point, if I'm the head official, I'm starting to think about how easily Nathaniel Edwards is going down inside the penalty area. I don't want to get too desperate. McDonald. His cross won't find anybody inside the 18-yard box. But Ayari will collect the pieces. Another service. Dipping down, and it's caught by Brendan Klein. Looking to preserve all 3 points. And a nice clean 0 on the score sheet for his side. Brendan Klein with 5 saves in this game. Locker still going with it. Julian Locker! Saved by Wilson. He keeps his team in it with 1 more minute to go. That could have shut the game. But instead, Shafiq Wilson keeps the Toronto hopes alive. Sullivan takes a tug. Just pokes it inside, cleared away for a corner kick. Oh no, it's gonna be a throw-in, says the head official. So that one just kept bouncing along the byline. Edwards out to McDonald. Curling ball, headed out. 30 more seconds to go. Toronto have it again. Fortier feeds it to his right, and Ayari couldn't get to it. And you know how the home side will meander through this process. So the 5 minutes have transpired. It's up to Andrew Parada to put this game to a close. And that'll do it. A clean sheet for Klein. And 3 points for New York City FC2. Back-to-back clean sheets against Toronto FC2 this season. This one done away by Leo Guarino, the goal scorer. But our man of the match is going to be the goalkeeper, Brendan Klein, with 5 saves throughout the match. Just his 2nd ever start in MLS Next Pro. Got his first look a week and a half ago. He stepped up in that one. And now in both matches, he's had 5 saves, but this one will be his first clean sheet. I mean, so many big moments in this one. Just asserted himself and came up when he needed to. That very first save he made in that package of clips. The biggest one, I would argue. And with that, that is where this show will end. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Mark Schoenster. Once again, our final score is 1-0 in favor of New York City FC2. Don't forget you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.